Hello and welcome back. We are going to jump right in. So the last time we left off, we were just gathering some fuel and talking about our plans. So we're going to talk about our plans some more. Today we're going to do some scouting. So here we were, obviously, by this fuel trailer. And that's our free fuel that we can use. But let's take a look at the map. So we're here, obviously. Garage is over here. We have the one mission, or one task. And there's a watchtower right here. Now, obviously, we could go this way and look for this watchtower, or we can go down this road and see if it goes this way. I know which way it goes, obviously, but we're going to look at Map Runner here in a second as well. And then there's some watchtowers up this way as well, over by the garage. So there's one down here, one up here, one up here, one up here. There's 3 this way, actually 4 this way. So same amount either side. We're going to go left first because there's some stuff we want to get today. And one of the people that I've watched some on YouTube is Nathan Province. I'll give him a little shout out. He does a whole bunch of videos on this. And one of my favorite things that he did was what's called route runners, which is like helping figure out where you're going to go, planning out where you're going to go first, you know, if you're going to need fuel, if you're going to bring fuel with you. And I do it a little bit different than he does, but it definitely gave me some ideas to like build my own way of doing things. So it's definitely worth watching his stuff. But the towers and whatnot that we're going to get along the way, obviously, we're going to plan out vehicles that we're getting, any upgrades along the way, which there's quite a few on this map, and they all generally pertain to the vehicles on this map. But our big goal, like I said, is to get all the upgrades, get all the towers, get the vehicles unlocked, and then sort of plan out what we're going to do for fuel, if we're going to need to stop anywhere, that kind of thing. And I kind of have an idea of what I want to do. So let's bring up Map Runner. All right, so here we are in Map Runner. And again, we are here, right by where this fuel carrier trailer is, right? The garage is over here. And then, like I said, we could have went this way, but if you see, this road doesn't really connect. So we can go this way and then go down this road. Now, I've done this map before, and I know that this road is very, very muddy. But there is a way through here, so we're going to try and do it with the stock Chevy. And then we can go, obviously, this is a blocked road, and if we click on this in Map Runner, it tells us it needs 1 metal beam and 2 concrete blocks, which we'll get to that probably in another episode. We're not gonna unlock anything. We're not gonna do any of the main, road rebuilding. We'll save that for another time. And then this way, this is actually where you start the game, right down here. When you do the tutorial. So when you're not doing hard mode, you start right here. And the normal path is it takes you to go to this watchtower over here, sorry. But a lot of people will go left here first and go up this windy road to this watchtower to grab it, and then grab this upgrade. So that's sort of the path we're going to take. We're going to come over here, come down this way, go up here, grab this watchtower, grab this upgrade. And we're actually going to go all the way up here as well, grab this upgrade, and grab this vehicle. And this is the one that we're going to use as a scout. So as we're on our way, I'm going to talk about that a little bit. And I don't know how much stuff costs. Let's get back into the game. Not really sure how much that costs. And like what's available from level 2. But we're going to find out. Actually, before I take off, one of the things you can do is you can plot your course. And obviously I don't have the map unlocked, but let's say I wanted to go back to the garage. If you look here, right, this is on PC. Right click adds destination point, and if you hold, it clears it, right? So we can, add like one main point like this, and then it kind of cuts across, or you can delete it and make, points along the way like this. Or you can go like this, and then if you make a point right on the line, you can just drag your line like that, which is sort of how I tend to do it to get you to where you're going. So once we have some of the map unlocked, if we need to like plan a route, that's how you do it. Works out kind of nice. So, all right, so let's start up and head this way. There is a trailer right here. I'm gonna just unlock for the experience. And this we're gonna use when we start unlocking or rebuilding some of the bridges in the area. It's got a bunch of those concrete blocks on it that we need. This trailer is really heavy. There's part of the tools on Map Runner. There's some information on like the weights of things if you really want to get into it. There's also like a tire chart on what tires are best for what vehicle. Very, very useful information. A lot of what I like to call spreadsheet nerd things, and there is actually some spreadsheets, so it makes me happy that they have some spreadsheet nerds in this game. All right, so we're gonna slow down a little bit. So if you notice, it's all like really muddy on the main path. That's kind of the path you want to stay away from, though, because that's where you're gonna get stuck. You want to stay close to these trees because we're gonna have to winch here. If there's situations, and I have to cut across here because it's getting too muddy. We got to get to the other side. All right, so there we go. We got a winch on that tree. Some of these trees like to fall over when you pull on them too, especially these really little ones. And you only want to like tap the winch button. You don't want to like hold it. Just use it enough to help you get moving. Like these big ones, these big dead ones. There we go. Like that one. See how it's moving? Just gotta tap it so it doesn't rip the tree down. Otherwise, you don't have a winch point. So again, it's kind of staying off the main path. We can definitely get through here. There's a log I'm trying to get over. There we go. All right, so we're just gonna grab this watchtower. There is no upgrades this way. We can turn off our engine here and take a look at the map now. So now you obviously see that circle, right? So it unlocked that entire circle of space. So now we could like say we're gonna go this way. And let's just make a plot onto this. Actually, you know what? We're gonna go this way first. We're gonna grab that task. So this is how I would normally do it, is just set a point like this a little bit before the intersection so I know that I need to turn. Because if you put it right at the intersection, the moment you get to it, you don't know if you're going left or right. So if I go like this and put it a little before the intersection, then I know the next one is to the right. Right, let's head out. If you sit in one spot in this muddy stuff, you kind of sink. Sometimes the camera likes to freak out when you're by these watchtowers or like up next to a building too, so it's kind of annoying. But there is a first-person view. I don't like using it, so I can't see if my wheels are spinning. This is more realistic, of course, but alright, we are gonna have to do one of these. So this is where winching comes in. So this is a winch trick. You can use your rear bumper or even a trailer that's attached to you to winch from. So if there's only one winch point, you can winch from the front bumper to it, and then you can winch from the rear bumper to it, and then you can winch from the trailer to it. You can use that one winch point 3 or 4 times to get you past something. So yeah, it's with these tires and this truck, it's pretty necessary to be winching through this. This little bit harder stuff here is okay, but back in that full swampy mud, you're not going anywhere without winching. Alright, so this spot has this really deep rut that I just went into that you generally don't want to do, because then this happens. Get kind of stuck. And then there's this log across the road, and I'm gonna kind of slow down. See this log across the road here, and then there's this other one up here that sticks out. This one moves, this one does not. So don't hit that. Speaking from experience, it can cause a lot of damage to your truck. So, and that's one thing that with hard mode, I kept calling it hardcore in the last episode. I realized the error in my ways. Hard mode, you turn off all-wheel drive around the road. When you damage your vehicle, you can fix the damage, right? So you can go to, you know, repair trailer, that kind of thing, and fix the damage. However, there's also physical damage that happens to the vehicle, which no matter how much you fix it at a, you know, fix it place or fix it trailer, that damage stays. So your truck ends up being more and more accordioned, and in order to fix it, you have to pay money. So I try to not take damage, but I'm sure it's going to happen sometime, probably during this episode. There's no chance that I won't hit something or bounce off of a rock. There's a lot of real tight trails that we're coming up on, so we have 18 gallons of 22. Keeping it out of all-wheel drive, like I said, we're trying to use as little gas as possible. More load you put on the vehicle, more going up hills, more low range. There's a low range in this gearbox. Sorry about the choppiness there. I was changing screens. So we're gonna go this way. Again, I kind of know the route, so I kind of had it planned out ahead of time, and I've done this map before. In fact, I've done, I would say, at least a dozen times this map. I would start over my main save just because it was fun to play. So I think I've redone my main save quite a few times, and where it's at now is definitely not the only time I've been that far. Okay, let's go back into all-wheel drive. So there's the road is sort of over here where this big mud puddle is, but I'm skipping through it. It's sort of the strategy when you're playing a scout vehicle, is to go off the beaten path when it makes sense. When it doesn't make sense, like there's a lot of trees like this, you have to cut through, but this is what you want to do. You want to stay near trees when you can, because all of these trees are winch points. Whether they break off or not, that's another story. But yeah, even like not these roots, but there's like dead trees on the ground a lot of times in like the swampy areas. There'll be a lot of dead trees on the ground, and you can use those as winch points, and those tend to stay still too. Sort of a built-in mechanic. Okay, what am I stuck on here? The edge of this tree. Didn't go fast enough. Veer a little left. When I see one, I'll point it out. But yeah, there's a lot of these like dead trees on the ground that you can use, and they tend to be a very solid winch point. There's also like tree stumps in a lot of areas because there's a lot of logging in this game, which will come later on as well. So I'm gonna turn my engine off and do the observation, which is kind of a neat, gives you a view. Again, just really nice to enjoy the views in these games. So this part up here is where it gets a little tight. You definitely want to make sure you're going slow. I'm gonna hit this rock right here, aren't I? Nope, not yet. Soon. One of these I'm gonna hit, guaranteed. I just don't like paying I think it's $1,500 credits, whatever, to repair when you're in the, and it'll repair everything. I'm gonna make a left here. But yeah, it's a lot of credits to, especially when you only have, 9,000. You don't want to be paying 1,500 every time to fix your bumper, And it doesn't really affect how the vehicle drives. It just, I don't know. It's like your personal vehicle. You don't want to have it look crummy. Then again, these are off-road trucks, and, having some trail stripes. All right, so this rock likes to push you off like that. You kind of got to drive into it to get over it. If you come this way. But yeah, this truck is more than capable of doing it with everything completely stock. Ooh, I just knocked the bumper off the edge of that rock. Let's see if it starts to show damage. Didn't take any damage. You'll get there's like a, oh, there we go. There's damage. It always says engine, but it's not. I don't know. So does it show? Yeah. See, like right about there, it's kind of tilted down a little bit. And you can really start mangling it up. Every little tiny tap like that will, you know, bend a fender, bend a piece of a bumper in, bend a grill in, ruin a headlight. You can actually ruin your headlights. Which there is a day-night cycle in here. So you will eventually need your headlights, and you don't want them broken, so... Alright, so up here is the first upgrade that we're grabbing for this truck. And this is actually... Oh, I just did more damage. See, I was going too fast. Alright, so this is the raised suspension for this truck, which definitely helps it out quite a bit. Gives you more ground clearance, so you stop bouncing bumpers off the ground. But yeah, it then makes it free, which is the most important part. Because you need to find it to unlock it, but then it also makes that one upgrade for this one truck free. So that way you don't have to pay for it. And there is some upgrades, like the next one we're going to get for this truck, that we're probably not going to use. And you can just sell it, but you sell it for half the price. So if you have to be really sure that you don't want to use it on hard mode. Because if you have to buy it back again later, you have to pay the full price, even though you only sold the one that you got for free for half. On normal mode, just sell it. You know, if you need the money for something, sell it, and you can buy it back for the same price you sold it for. Because you'll get the full price. That's what I like about this mode, is there's more decision making. You have to really decide when you want to do upgrades. Like, I'm not doing tires yet because I'm planning on doing more tires later. And why not wait until I can get those tires, because then I got to sell the other tires for half the price I paid for them, you know? Alright, so we're gonna slow down here. Try and make it through here without bending a fender up. When I logged in, I don't know if you notice on the top right here, it actually selected that one quest that we, or that one task that we had done, and it sort of does that automatically. Like when you finish one, it'll just select another one, and you can change it in that menu. So here's one of those logs. I'm going to stop for a second here. You back up. Okay. So if I turn the engine off, and oh shoot, I need to have the engine on because I don't have the auto winch. Alright, so I'm connected to this winch. I'm going to just winch to this, and I'm not even using the gas, and that log isn't moving. So those are if you see those are really good winch points. Better than this tree, for example, that'll probably fall over. Like that's a winch point. All these ones down here, these are all winch points. So if you ever see something like that, you are not stuck. You can winch. This water is pretty fake. Ooh, shoot. I am going too fast. Now let's look at the front end. Oh, yeah. We're bent up. License plate is hard to read. This I was going to just say, this water you can go through pretty fast. Because there's no mud underneath it. But, yeah, you really can't. As you see there, it started to say dangerous water level. That is the use of a snorkel. Because you don't want to get water in the engine. And a snorkel brings the air intake higher, so you can wade through deeper water. But like I said, in this map particularly, there really isn't a lot of really deep water you have to get through. So you're fine. Alright, so up here is an engine upgrade. And when we looked at this truck in the first episode, there's a bunch of upgrades that you need to find to get engines, right, for this. This is the most fuel-hungry engine. It is the most powerful, but you don't really need too much more power in this truck for it to be pretty much capped out and spinning the wheels on you anyhow. So this engine I don't plan on using. I don't know, I might keep on to it. I might hold on to it for a little while just in case, but I don't think I'm going to put it in right away. I'm definitely not going to use it right away. And if I do put it in, I'm definitely not selling the stock engine back. So I might want to put it back in because it just uses too much fuel. Alright, so we're down to 13 gallons. Which is kind of where I figured we'd be. Hopefully we can make the route that I have planned. Couple different things we're going to do, but we should be able to make it. This thing doesn't use a lot of gas with its base engine and base tires and everything, so it's pretty good on fuel. Alright, so we could go right and go to town, but we're going to make a left. And skip this mud that's over here. That looks pretty deep. And go up this zigzaggy hill. I remember there's like a really sharp right turn that's easy to miss. Just gotta keep an eye out for it here. Uh-oh. It's getting dark and it's starting to rain. It's definitely looking like afternoon. We're gonna be in night soon, so I'll be it's definitely it changes the environment quite a bit and the ability to see paths that you're on. Alright, so there's a shortcut here, and this is how I tell where it is. So as soon as you can see this building here, you can go down this path. In fact, let me turn the engine off. We're gonna open up the map. Okay, so, oh shoot, it's doing this. Sometimes it selects the vehicle and you can't see where you are. So you can go down this path here and then go this way and then go up this zigzaggy hill, right? All the way through here. Or you can just kind of cut through right here. And this is pretty exclusive to scout vehicles where you can kind of zip through some trees and get to where you're going. Now it's very tippy, so you just have to be very careful as you go through here, but this is the easiest way to get up to where I'm going, which is where our new scout vehicle is going to be. Which is literally an international scout. A lot of people don't like to use it because it's very tippy. And it is very, narrow. It's kind of tall and kind of narrow. So it does have the tendency to tip, but if you just drive careful, you're okay. But there is a reason I'm going to use it. Because it has some upgrades that are available to it immediately that this truck does not. Which makes it a very good scout vehicle. So we're about half gas. 12 of 22. We'll probably be right at half by the time we get to this. There's actually a couple of reasons I want to use this vehicle. Alright. So some things about winching vehicles. If the vehicle has gas and it has a working engine, so I just found this vehicle, it's not mine. There's a lot of vehicles that are like this. Sometimes you have to do missions or tasks to unlock them. This one you just get. So you can turn on the engine of the winched vehicle and it helps drive. So it doesn't make it as difficult to pull up hills, but it also uses its gas. So you have to weigh the benefits of doing this, but this, both of these trucks are not really super strong enough to be pulling another vehicle around or even a trailer. So it's best to just leave the engine on of the vehicle you're towing. But I'm not towing this very far because we're going to swap trucks here in a second and I'm going to go two different ways. So we're going to go back up that path, but it's very dangerous to do. I'm going to try and do it without tipping these vehicles, but that's why I brought both. because if you have another vehicle, you can actually winch and pull and right side the vehicle. As long as the one is on its wheels and can start, you can winch the other vehicle back on its feet. All right, so we got to go make a right turn here. But it's a very left banking right turn. Already wants to tip. All right, let's go in low. Come on. It's not tip today. I did this the other day and I tipped the Scout. I was trying this out on my normal save. Alright. So there's that. We did not tip. But we are having... Oh. Yeah, it's still on. Alright, let's go. Come on. Let's get up this hill. There we go. The problem is that vehicle is only rear-wheel drive currently, but it's still helping being on. Alright, so it's getting dark. I'm going to turn my lights on. Alright, we just got to get through here. Hopefully I didn't rub too much paint off the Scout. Alright, so this truck is going to release the winch of the Scout and turn right and park. Turn engine off. Alright, we're exactly at half fuel. It's kind of what I thought we'd be able to do. Oh, I just turned the engine on again. Alright. Let's turn this engine off and take a look at the map. Okay. So this one, the Chevy, when we get back in, it is going to go back to town. We're going to go down this zigzaggy path, hit town here, and then go basically on the easy path back to the garage because it's pretty low on fuel. We might grab a task or grab this watchtower with it, but I'm going to probably just do it with the Scout. This one, we're going to do the rest of the exploration up here and grab the rest of the upgrades on this side of the map. So we're going to just pop in here, but before we do, this guy's got an automatic diff lock and it's just on all the time. That truck needs exploration of the next map in order just to get its diff lock, and you have to turn it on manually. So this one is just on all the time, which makes it a little bit better Scout vehicle. And there's something in the garage that we'll show once we get there to hopefully justify my thing. So, but yeah, you can definitely use all-wheel drive a lot less in this vehicle, which makes it more fuel efficient, which is important. Doesn't have as big of a fuel tank to start with, but that's where the upgrades come in. Yeah, we only used a gallon, so it's got 19 of 20 gallons. There's a setting you can have it be default as liters, by the way. But I like something that I understand. Gotta have your freedom units. Alright, we are dark, so let's use lights. Almost. You can actually see what time it is. Yeah, it's 6 o'clock. 6 p.m. Alright, so this... we want all-wheel drive for getting up this hill. So the one downside of this thing is the engine is pretty weak. So when you go up, I mean, you don't get an upgrade for the engine for a bit. The Chevy's engine is by default a little bit stronger, I think. I don't know if it's the same engine or not. I think this thing is just heavier. I'd have to look at the chart. Alright, so we're going to try and stay to the right here because I know it's easier to get through instead of in that really muddy stuff in the tire tracks. Yep, just cruised right through it. This thing is great. You just got to keep it on its 4 wheels and it's fine. And sometimes winch it to help it get up hills because it's a little weak getting up hills. But yeah, with the diff lock and with the all-wheel drive, these are highway tires too. We're going to be upgrading its tires as well at level 4. And we're going to keep the Chevy. We're going to use it for other situations because The one thing I don't think this has until much later is a snorkel. And there is some stuff in later maps that gets a little deep, and you want to have something that can wade a little bit. That I'm pretty sure that, yeah, that's the one that I can pick up down the hill. I don't have to waste gas going up there to get it. There's two, sometimes there's two spots for like where you do it and where you get the quest or get the task. That is really muddy there. That's why I went left, but it's still have to wade through it a little bit. Alright, so this is another task. There's a whole bunch of tasks here in town. Alright, let's grab this guy. Alright, so now we're in town. Turn all-wheel drive off. Here's the other spot. This is for that bridge. Or the rock slide is what it's called. There's like a bunch of rocks over the road you have to bring some stuff to have it cleared out. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, bridges sort of make sense. You bring some wood, you bring some concrete, you know, and like it builds a bridge. So, but this is the loading zone for the warehouse. Now, in normal, here's some more free experience for that trailer. We're going to use that later. More free stuff. But why I say it's free is because there's two ways to get cargo in hard mode. Option number one is to pay a loading fee, and I believe it's $150 per item. So if it's 2 items or 3 items like that one task was, you have to pay, you know, $300 or $450, for example, for a 3-item task. And you just have to pay it. You have no choice. The only other choice is to buy a crane and equip it on your vehicle, which is somewhere in the area of like $50. We'll look when we're in the garage. I want to say it's $5,800. And only certain vehicles can use it, but one of the vehicles we have, the Fleetstar, can just use it right away. However, that's $5,800, so if you're taking into consideration it's $150, that's, I don't know, quick math, 10, 20, 30, somewhere in the area of like 36, 37, maybe 40, depending on how expensive that thing is, loads that you can load for the price of one crane. So you have to weigh the benefit of spending that money and craning everything and then bringing your crane truck, which is the only truck you have with a crane, to load every single piece of cargo, or just sucking it up and paying it sometimes. I could have went right there. In fact, I still can go right. Let's do scout vehicle things. So yeah, that's the big decision making of hard mode. Like this stump, for example, is something you can winch from. Kind of nice. There is some like structures. All right, so this is the GMC, and we're gonna turn the engine off. Talk about this vehicle a little bit. So this is a highway truck. Comes with highway tires. Comes with rear-wheel drive only, so there is no all-wheel drive option. Does not have a diff lock, so you get stuck a lot. And it comes loaded with this bed, right? That you can, you know, be baited into hauling cargo with this vehicle. That is not what this vehicle is meant for. We're going to use it what it's meant for, though, and it's actually very good at another task, which is using a low saddle and hauling big long trailers like that one that we passed up the top there. So very heavy trailers weigh this thing down and make it so it can actually go through things. But this light thing and a couple pieces of cargo, even like really heavy cargo, it doesn't do very well. It can't tow trailers very well, but if you use the saddle on this truck, it works great. But before we leave this truck, we're going to steal some of its gas. Actually, we're probably... Yeah, we're okay. We don't need to steal any of its gas. I had second thoughts. 16 gallons. This thing really sips gas. It really doesn't use a lot, so. Now the next thing we're going to do is go down to this lumber mill. Whoop. Whoop. Let's not tip. So this is where you pick up wood planks. However, there's 2 free ones in this trailer right here. We're going to need these later. However, this trailer is kind of hard to get at in this mud, but this thing is pretty skinny and can sneak in the spot that you could drive on. And that should be far enough. Yep. And let's yank this thing out of here. Get it to where the full-size truck can grab it. Get our experience for it. There we go. We'll just leave it right there. Come get it with one of the big trucks later. Oh shoot. I don't want to go this way yet. There's an upgrade. This way. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to pause. Found something interesting. We were talking about the maps before. So if you pause like this, by the way, which is hitting escape on PC, it stops time and it stops fuel usage and that kind of thing. But I still just have this habit of, you know, turning the engine off. And then if you hit escape, it stops time from running. So like if you wanted to stay night or stay daytime, you can look at something else and go from there. Kind of nice. All right, so let's get back over to our map runner screen. All right, so this is Black River, Michigan, right? And I said I've been to Michigan before. This is Michigan. This is Lake Michigan here. And this is Black River, Michigan. There's 2 of them, actually, and I wasn't quite sure which one, but I think it's a little bit of both. So if I go to this one, this is kind of neat. I thought it was kind of interesting. It's definitely more of a city, but if you look at this windy river with like a bit of a kind of an extra side river through here, and then there's like a little lake or pond here, right? Some boat docks, it looks like, which is kind of neat. This is actually Lake Michigan right here too. So not fully what I think it is, but if you look here, windy river, a little bit of an inlet, a little bit of a pond over here. Some more, this is more swamps than, like this is where that watchtower was that we cut through. So I wouldn't call it really a city, but there's the main town. Looks a lot like that Black River, right? Now let's look at the other one, which is over here on this coast. This is Lake Huron over here. This one's way more rugged looking, but if you look at the angle of how this like kind of goes sharp like this, there isn't really a lake over here. I don't know. I think it's probably a little bit of both. But if you follow the wind, I just thought it was kind of interesting that it really is taken from Michigan, right? There is such a place. If you look here, I was looking up some of the other places. There is a Smithville Dam. Smithville Dam's down south of, I believe, Lansing, yeah. So here's Smithville Dam, which is the next place we're going to go. We'll come back here and visit this again. I thought it was pretty neat. But this is the actual dam. And the dam in Smithville Dam kind of does this hard 90 bend like this too. Thought it was pretty neat. before, like right before you go over the dam, and there's like a big, huge farm road coming up to it. So yeah, I thought it was pretty neat that there is real places that they took these map ideas from. All right, so back at it. We are gonna go over here. There's a relatively important Fleetstar upgrade over here. This is the raised suspension for it. Again, anytime you lift the suspension, it tends to give you more ground clearance. It makes it a little more tippy. Like, this Scout, I'm probably not going to use the raised suspension because it's already pretty tippy. And I don't want to make it more tippy. But those large trucks, those the heavy duty and the freeway trucks and that kind of thing, lifting those definitely helps them just get through things. Lets you fit bigger tires too, which again, until we buy tires for those trucks, I think it's level 6 is when you can buy the first upgrade of tires for the bigger trucks. All right, so this is the raised suspension, and while we're over here, it doesn't really matter, but we're gonna just grab this task for the bridge. This is the one we need the wood planks for. So we're going to haul that trailer with those 2 wood planks across that river with one of the big trucks through this mucky stuff. And bring it over here to fix this bridge. Because we need to get this bridge, we're going to use a lot, believe it or not. This is one that's traveled quite a bit when you're doing a lot of the tasks later in this map. So this is going to be one of our first ones we need to fix. One right before it, and then we'll probably come and fix this one too right away. Try and miss that tree stump. Not ram into that. I've rammed into those before too. Those do a lot of damage to your random components. Sometimes pop a tire, which that is really bad in this case because I don't have a spare tire in this truck. Not yet. Then you're stuck. You can drive on the flat, but it's like really hard. Especially going through all this stuff, you're just not going to make it. You almost have to like bring a repair vehicle with a spare tire to repair it. In normal, you would just recover it to your garage for free, and it would repair it automatically and refuel it for you for free. But that is the challenge of hard mode. Makes it fun. And that's also why I'm using this vehicle. I wanted to use something that wasn't like super easy. Like the Jeep DLCs, I've used the Jeep DLCs before. There's like the old Willys Jeep, which is whatever, the YJ type Jeep. And then there's the Rubicon Jeep, which is like the newer, slightly newer body style Jeep. I don't remember what model number that is, but they're both really good, but the Rubicon is especially really good because it starts with off-road tires. You don't even have to buy them. They both have all-wheel drive and diff lock from the get-go. They both have the ability to have lifted suspension from the get-go. Like, it's all very upgradable. They're very good off-road because obviously they're built as Jeeps. And Scouts are pretty good too, but like I said, it's kind of a... I guess the Jeeps are a little tippy too. You got to be careful with those two. They have the same problem. They're sort of narrow, sort of bouncy. You got to keep it slow. But the Rubicon, you can get this crawler suspension for, and it just makes it into a completely different vehicle. Have one tire lifting way up in the air over a stump or something, and then the other, all the other three are on the ground, you know? Excuse me. Alright, so let's, before I head out of here, make sure... Oh, shoot. Oh, I didn't get the tower. You know what? We'll get it with the Chevy. When we come through here, we'll get it, we'll come down here, get it with the Chevy, steal just a little bit of gas out of the GMC to get the Chevy back to the garage. Yeah, that'll work out just fine. So yeah, we'll come through here with the Chevy, come down, get this watchtower just to get it unlocked, and then hit up the GMC for 5-10 gallons of gas, and then get this thing home, get the trucks home, and then we can start using some of these upgrades we got. We might send one of the scout vehicles, probably the Scout. We'll take the Scout out this way to see how it handles this side of the map. But that's the plan. That's the next plan. And then we do have to, at some point, that fuel trailer that's kind of right by the farm, right by the garage as well. We're going to yank that out of there with one of the big trucks, but we're probably going to use the Fleetstar just because it's so muddy coming through that first little stretch by the farm. And having all-wheel drive, I don't know if the GMC can pull something, in all honesty, and not get stuck. They can get through there without any load, but having any load on it or pulling anything, I think it's going to get stuck unless I'm towing that big 5-slot trailer that's... That thing's super heavy. Did we grab this? Yeah, we grabbed this task. Even if we didn't, I know what we need for it. That's one of the first ones we do. I'm not turning all-wheel drive off. But yeah, before we drag that out of here, we're going to use that to fill up these scouts when we come back. Maybe we'll try using the GMC. Just drag it back. There is a lot of trees on the side of the road through here, so if it gets stuck, it's just right past the farm there. It gets really muddy, and there's that little bit of water that's not really muddy in the water, but like right before the water. It gets kind of muddy, and there's like only light poles to winch from, so we might have to use the winch. Yeah, let's try it. We might have to use the winch from the front and winch from the bumper and then winch from the trailer trick to get through there with that truck. But yeah, before we go back, let's grab some fuel for this guy. But yeah, this is going to be our garage fuel. We're just going to park this trailer at the garage, and anytime we go back to the garage with the vehicle, we're just going to fill up. And then there's another set of fuel. It's a very big fuel trailer, which we'll talk about that as well a little bit. The mission trailers. So this is not a mission trailer, which means I can use all of the fuel out of it, and it was 529 gallons. So let's say it was a mission trailer, and there is mission trailers that are that kind of trailer that have 529 gallons in them. I need to turn in the mission with 53 gallons. So you need to have at least 10% fuel from the original quantity of fuel in the tanker remaining to turn in the quest, or turn in the task. So you always have to turn it in with 10% fuel. So you can use up most of the fuel in it. You just can't use all of it. So you just have to keep that in mind. When it is a mission trailer, which there is a very big mission trailer that's like 13 or 1400 gallons up on the east side of the map, we can use a whole bunch of fuel out of that, and we can actually take a whole tanker truck, fill it up, and still have enough fuel in that trailer to refuel everything that goes by it and steal an entire tanker truck of fuel out of it for ourselves to use on later maps, which is what we're going to do. Alright, so we're back at the garage. This guy, we're going to take a peek while it's dark at some of the upgrades. I think we can get one right away. Okay, so yeah, it is the same engine as the Chevy. So these are the same as the Chevy engines, these three, right? But as you see, like, this engine doesn't really give it, so from the base engine to this engine doesn't change any power rating or fuel consumption. This one says it changes a unhealthy appetite for gas, but it still is an S for fuel consumption, but it gives us more power. So when we find this upgrade, which I think is in the third map, we're going to use it in this Scout, not in the Chevy, because this one for the Chevy, I believe, upgrades the power and again doesn't change the fuel consumption. So when we find this one, which is in the second map, we're going to put that one in the Chevy, I believe. I think that's my plan. This transmission right here is the one that you generally want to use. It uses a little more fuel and everything. We do find one for free on this map, on the east side of the map. And it gives you a 3 low range, which you use a lot. And then there's also a high range, which allows you to maintain speed through some of the more muddy areas while also not using a ton of fuel. So that's kind of nice. Raised you don't find until the second map, I believe. But again, let's see how it makes it so much taller. Like, this is already kind of tippy. I don't know if I want to lift it. We are going to wait till level 4 again to get these tires. These tires right here, the 35-inch. Because you need the lifted suspension for the 39-inch. And then it's level 7? Yeah, level 7 for the mud tires. So, I mean, we got 3 more levels to go. So I feel like it's a reasonable cost to buy these tires and then in 3 levels sell them and then buy these. But you just skip these all-terrains. Which there's 3 different types, but this is actually the best rated one. There's that tire chart that's on Map Runner that gives you rating, like there's a number associated with, you know, mud rating, off-road rating, so on and so forth. And this is the best one for mud, which is usually the most important. And you can even kind of tell by it looks the most rugged, right? Has the most nubblies on it. But so that's what we're going to do. We're going to wait till level 4. We have 1,300 experience, 1,400 experience left to get. Once we start doing some of the tasks, then obviously that'll start going really quick. So continuing on, we have our autonomous scout, which we're not going to buy. Okay, so this is 1 spare wheel, right? Which is $1,700. Okay, so that's a single spare wheel. Let me see if I was right. Yeah, it's a level 11. Holy cow. Okay, so it's going to be a while before we can get a snorkel on this thing, whereas the Chevy can just have it right now. So yeah, if there's a mission that needs to like go down by a river, we'll probably just throw a snorkel on the Chevy and take it. But this is going to be our exploration vehicle because of this last one, which gives us 300 repair parts, which allows us to repair stuff on the go. Gives us 4 spare wheels and 37 gallons. Now this thing's only got a 20-gallon gas tank, so it gives us almost triple the range for 1 tick in power to weight, because it gives, you know, increased weight. So you lose some power, and it's only $1,500, whereas the spare wheel is $1,700. So 1 spare wheel versus 4 plus repair parts plus fuel tank. So we're just going to buy that right away. And that's how we're going to use this vehicle. That's why I wanted this one. Because the Chevy, I think, is like level 6 or 7 before you can even get repair parts. And it's only like 50. And you don't get any fuel with it. So this is definitely the way to go, I think, is having the extended range. Now, if it looks correct, yes. So the fuel's back here normally, but because it's hard mode, when you buy the expansion, it only gives you the ability to fill the fuel. It doesn't actually give you the fuel. So we will have to take this, or once we bring the fuel trailer to the garage, we're going to have to fill it up to get all the extra fuel before we take off in this thing. So now that we did that, we're going to take this guy and bring him home. And we're going to do what we were talking about, which is, in fact, we're going to map this out. Let's turn the engine off. So we want to go this way through town. I can't remember which way is easier. Oh, you know what? I didn't grab this quest either. This task we need to grab. I think it's easier this way. This is a fuel station right here, by the way. This is there's 2 fuel stations on this map. One's here, one's on the east side. If I remember correctly, this one's $2 a gallon. Over here is $12 a gallon. So if you do need to pay for fuel, this is the one to pay for it at. It's definitely not worth paying full price. So we're going to go over here. I'm just going to put a line right through there because I know we're going to kind of cut through here somewhere. And we're going to steal some gas from this before we take it back home. Because we're going to be pretty low by the time we get there. And I don't want to spend even $2 a gallon. But I'm just going to show you how the map plotting works. When you map, because you can just keep going. It'll just let you map a whole path. All the way back to the garage. Yeah, 11 gallons. We are definitely going to need to steal some gas out of the GMC. And then we will take the GMC home and steal its... actually, not steal it, but go and grab that fuel trailer that became ours. It is kind of stealing. It's just a random fuel trailer, and some guys... It's like a campground almost, or like a trailer park. And there's just a fuel trailer sitting next to a trailer, and it's like, hey, I'm just gonna hook up to this, and yeah, you don't need this, right? I'm gonna go ahead and take this. Thanks. Appreciate it. Kinda off a little bit. But hey, that's how the game works, you know. And I believe the second map, there isn't a lot of free fuel. There isn't a lot of just fuel trailers lying around. So that's why we're going to gather we're going to kind of try and finish as much as we can on this map. Because there's some stuff that you have to come back for sure. You need some of the other vehicles that you find to do some of the more difficult, like the log hauling missions. It's really not ideal with these vehicles, and there is a vehicle you get later that is specifically designed for logging. Okay, so we're going to grab this task and see how it's kind of leading me the way, giving me arrows. I kind of know the way, but it's nice to, like, if you're trying to plan where you're going, you're new, you're looking at Map Runner, you have the towers unlocked. It's quite useful. Alright, so we're going to make a left up here. Just past the gas station. Okay, so I'm going to show you what happens if you make a thing in the wrong spot. Sometimes, like if you want to cut this corner, it's going to do it. Okay, I got close enough. Sometimes you don't get close enough and then the dot doesn't go away, and then you have to, like, either remove that dot or drive back to it so it goes away. It's kind of annoying. So when you're making routes, try and put the markers a little before the turn you're going to make, because sometimes you want to cut the corner. That's going to be like on a rock. I'm going to have to get... Oh, okay, that was the watchtower I needed. Good thing I drove over that. Whoops. Alright, so that unlocked a task called Pinewood Express. And there is... I forget what they're called. Challenges? Something? We'll look on the map here in a minute. When I go to steal some gas. I mean, borrow some of the fuel out of this other vehicle that I own. That I also found that I'm stealing from this campground. I mean, it's literally like a trailer park, right? And there's just a truck sitting in the middle of it, and I'm just like, hey guys, I'm out. Thanks. Alright. So let's turn off this engine. Steal a couple gallons of gas. Yeah, that's enough. 14 should get us home. Alright, so on the map, go to contracts, not contracts, sorry. Contests, that's what they're called. Contests you can do only so many times on hard mode. And if I remember correctly, what does it say? It's only letting us do it once. I think you can do it like 3 or 5 times only. There's one at the farm as well, but you need to do another task first before it opens up that one. And that's the easiest one because it's take stuff from the farm, kind of up this path here, through this spot that we can't see yet, across this bridge that we need to rebuild to this drilling site. And then you come back, you start the thing over, you grab 2 more things, you drive it up here, you get a bunch of money and a bunch of experience. I'm going to do that as many times as it lets me because I know I can get gold just over and over on these contests to kind of get some money. But that I might not do on video just because it's kind of boring to watch. We might do it one time, but or do it the last time. But it's not going to be something that we're going to be doing all 5 because it's probably going to take an entire hour episode to do, you know, all 5 of these Pinewood Expresses because they're kind of a longer mission, longer contest. Sorry, I had the wrong name again. All right, so yeah, and we talked enough because it's now becoming daylight again. Easier to see you. I'm bumping into things. All right, so we stole a little bit of gas. Gas that belongs to us. And we're going to get this vehicle home. And then the last thing we're going to do is try and get that fuel trailer home to the garage with the 2-wheel drive highway GMC. It's got the best engine in it. So like from the get-go, you get the one with the best engine. It lacks traction. It's got very slippery highway tires, and there's a bunch of mud you got to get it through, so there's probably going to be some winching, maybe some creative winching. Maybe the other thing you can do, which is more of an extreme thing if you really get stuck, is to unhook the trailer, try and drive the vehicle up a little bit by winching it forward, 20 feet, and then winching to the trailer and winching the trailer forward 20 feet at a time. And it takes a ton of gas, and it's very long-winded procedure, but it's the only way to get you unstuck if you're way far out and you don't want to bring a recovery vehicle back. So it is an option. It's just a very last resort option. So you're going to use a bunch of fuel trying to do it. When you're stuck like that and spinning, it just uses gas. I'm gonna like crash into rocks as I'm talking here. This is kind of how I started becoming a little reckless on my first hardcore playthrough, and that's when I started tipping vehicles and crashing. And so I got to remember keeping it slow it down. Once you get the Snowrunner gearbox or the off-road gearbox for the large vehicles, it knocks a gear off. So instead of 5 gears, it only has 4 gears in auto. So you definitely automatically go a little slower. And then there's also the high range, which is always a little slower too. And it's a little more fuel efficient. So it's actually more beneficial to just take your time in high range. And because you crash less, you do less suspension damage. See, I almost slid into that concrete barrier. Slow down. Need like an old man sitting in his lawn chair in his driveway yelling at me to slow down. There's kids in this neighborhood, see? Slow it down in your race truck. We did get that watchtower without upgraded tires, I might say. A lot of people wait until they get their tires for their Scout. Now, like, there's off in that field, there's an abandoned truck, and that is a mission to rescue that abandoned truck from that mud pit, from that flooded farm. And that we're not doing until we get those off-road tires on this truck. We're probably going to use this truck. I think it's just a little more powerful to tow that thing out of there. It's the same engine, like I said, but I think this is a little bit lighter. Little less tippy too. It's definitely a more stable truck. It's just really bouncy. You notice the lightweight. If you start bouncing it off of rocks, it gets really scary. There's definitely better scouts in this game by a lot. There's a couple that we're gonna end up getting at some point down the road, probably 100 hours in, once we get to those maps. I am probably gonna try, and I don't know, I haven't decided yet. There's a map 2 maps in from this one that has probably the best off-road truck in the game, the Taiga, and it's very easy to get. It's like a quest you do that's almost right away in the opening map. You just have to trudge through some mud and buy a repair trailer. So it costs some money to get a truck over there because you have to pay the transfer fee. Oh shoot, I forgot to get gas. All right, we're just gonna leave this truck out, so I need to fill it up before we put it away. Turn it off and switch to the GMC. But yeah, I might go get the Taiga. Some people will say, oh, don't do the maps out of order, blah, blah, blah. It's like, hey, I got to spend 7,000 credits to... It's 3,500, I believe, to transfer a vehicle there. Actually, I got to spend 10,500 credits if I think about it. Because I got to send a vehicle over there, right? I got to spend even more than that. I got to spend 15,000 because I got to put a repair trailer or a repair add-on on the body. I can't do it until I'm level 4. I was going to grab something out of the fuel trailer. We're not going to do... Oh, I should have went and gotten a steel bars. We'll do that in another episode. But we're gonna go and probably get the Taiga, but it's like I said, I'm gonna have to save up probably 20,000 to go do it, because I gotta pay to get a truck over there, pay to put a add-on on it that's 5,000 ish, so I can repair it and fill it up with gas, haul it out of there, fill it up with gas, and then it becomes my truck. And then I have to pay to store it and send it back here times 2, because I have to send the truck that I sent over there to go get it, to send that back, and then another 3,500 to send the Taiga back. And it's like completely crumpled up, so if I don't want it to be crumpled up, I have to pay another 1,500 credits. So it's an investment to go get that truck, and I feel like if you're putting that much money into it, you can do it whenever the hell you want to do it. So maybe I'll do it, but maybe I won't as well. These trucks, so the highway tires, this thing's got highway tires. The Fleetstar has highway tires. The next truck you get in the next map has highway tires. But once you hit level 6, I believe it's level 6, you get the ability to put all-terrain tires. Now, all-terrain tires, you're going to say, oh, that's crappy. You skipped the all-terrain tires in the Chevy. Yeah, I did, because I know that the off-road tires are not that far away. Well, off-road tires in these trucks is like level 12. I want to say level 11 or level 12. And yeah, I'm not waiting until then to put tires on these things. So these things are getting the all-terrains because the all-terrains make a huge difference in how they perform, because these things usually have weight in them. Like when they're empty, they tend to slip and slide around a little bit. When they have weight in them, they get stuck. So having those all-terrain tires will greatly reduce the chance of being stuck. So I think I'm just going to put all-terrains on these things as soon as I can. And then that will... It's either that or I go get the Taiga, put it that way. Which I also have to pay to put all-terrains on. But they're one of the best all-terrains in the game as well. So they have the ability to use a different all-terrain that these trucks don't, that are even better. So, like I said, I could just put all-terrains on these and save myself 20k probably in transfer fees and repair truck fees. And but maybe not. We'll see. We'll see how I feel once I get to that point. I think these trucks are more than capable for these maps. This truck especially, once you don't get the all-wheel drive or the diff lock. Uh-oh. See what I mean? As soon as you put load on it, it just stops going. But yeah, this truck, once you put the all-terrain tires on it and you use the long, 4 or 5 slot cargo holders. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. We might have to do the trick. Let's detach. Get out of this hole. There we go. And then attach our winch to the trailer. Winch the trailer out. I'm still stuck. It's okay. I can winch to that pole now. Trying to not dig a huge hole. Alright, let's back up just a hair. Attach trailer. There we go. Let's try and not run. Yep, nope. Sorry. Sorry. I took out both your mailboxes and your dumpster, and your sign is gonna go to. Sorry. Thanks for the gas, though. Alright, we made it out. Now we need to get through this part. Alright, so this is the farm, and if you stay left here, this is pretty firm ground here. So this is another trick that I completely forgot to tell you about. If you press your shift key, your left shift tends to be the default for like changing what gear you're in, neutral, low, reverse, or various, high gears, that kind of thing, which you get different transmissions. But it'll also shift the transmission in auto for you. So like if it has the ability to shift into second here, it's going to force it into second, which tends to be better for getting out of this muddy stuff, which is why I keep pressing shift. Also helps you going up hills, like it'll downshift for you. Like if you're losing the speed, it'll just shift it into the more appropriate gear right away instead of kind of bogging down. So it's sort of a trick that you learn when you play. Lets you maintain speed a little better using the default transmissions in some of these vehicles in the beginning. All right, we made it. This is kind of the hard part right here. This is kind of muddy too. Come on, make it. I'm gonna stay close to these poles. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Alright, I think let's go. Except I need to turn off. Where is it? Take a screenshot. It's going to be our thumbnail. A stuck truck. I think there's a hotkey for that, but I don't know what it is. Alright, we're almost through. Believe it or not, once you get into the water, it gets better. Like the ground, there's not as much mud. It's like rocky. Yeah, there we go. We're through. We made it. Alright. So this truck can also do it in its stock form. Well, that'll do us for today. Definitely built our fleet up a bit. We're going to use that Scout 800 a little bit more in the next one. Take care of the east side of the map and maybe start doing some bridges. This fuel trailer is now here, so it's now ours. We have a repair trailer. We have 2 scouts, 2 regular trucks, or I should say 2 heavy trucks. This is a highway truck, and then our other one is a heavy duty truck. We're going to park this trailer right here. And this is where we're going to leave you guys. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and throw me a like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.